Back, back. Welcome back. Or I should say, bung, bung. Welcome back to the TNEC cast. Why am I saying bung, bung? It is the Woo episode. Shout out to Pete because he will definitely know what we're talking about.
Yep.
Episode 36. You see, I'm excited. I'm excited today. We got a good topic and everything. So, welcome back to the TNEC cast. Your boy Shuff with your boy, the Weapon K. Our housekeeping, like, comment, subscribe, please, please, please. We've been getting more traction with the views, with everything else, but you won't really, subscribe. So subscribe, please. It's free. Great way to
It's free.
support.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But shout out to all the people. Shout out to our boy Murph. He always, shares the stuff on his social media. We really appreciate that. So thank you, brother. Appreciate that. But Kay, how you feeling, brother?
I'm chilling, brother. I'm chilling, man. Good to be back. Good to talk. I like to say this to my wife whenever I'm like venting to my wife. It's just like me and you are just having a conversation. We just happen to press record, right? So if you gain something from it, hey, share it with a friend. Save it, share it on social media, tag us, let us know what you learned. My heart gets filled with people saying, hey, this is what I learned from last episode, and this is how I'm going to implement it. Because knowledge is power, but if you don't use that power, it's useless.
Yeah.
So this episode, we're going to talk about things you should consider before even going into bodybuilding. Because it's time to bulk up in the winter months. Time to get extra thick.
Get you a nice beard.
Damn right. So what are the steps if you want to actually step on stage? So we're going to be talking about a few topics. If you gain something, let us know in the comment section below, and let's tee this off real quick.
All right, good. So, all right. So when we were, kind of talking about what we wanted to talk about today, this is actually something that came straight from my Instagram because people were asking questions and somebody asked best advice for a new bodybuilder. So one thing I'm going to say real quick. So Kyrie's kind of in between. So he's men's physique, class physique, because he's done both. You know what I mean? I'm men's physique. So sometimes when we're talking to people, we have to be careful because regular Joe does not know what men's physique means. They probably don't know what classic physique means. When you say bodybuilding, and then you kind of gauge their understanding, and then you can go right into it. So that's one thing. I'm just kind of getting that out of the way. So when we say advice for a new bodybuilder, for anybody that is one of our peers in the sport, we're not talking about just bodybuilding. We're talking about the sport as a whole. So with that being said, I put 5 things down. Now, look, there's tons of things to consider. These are just 5 that I came up with. And I know Kay said he got another one as we talked about that. So again, we're just going to jump into a conversation. So I put number 1, research coaches. Number 2, research the sport. Number 3, hire a coach. 4, set goals. 5, and this might be the most important, get ready to be tested in ways you did not know possible. You will be tested. You will find out what you are made of. Yeah. There are a lot of people that have started preps, and within 2 to 4 weeks, they exited stage left. Because they really found out I don't got what it takes, and that's okay. This shit ain't for everybody. It really is not. So with number 1, what we're gonna do, we've already talked about taking steps to finding a coach and everything like that. So what we're going to do in the description, Kyrie had to help me out with that. Hey, I'm old. Leave me alone. So in the description, we're going to link back to our episode where we talked about coaches. So that way, take a look at that. We went really in depth about, different things you want to consider. So number 2, researching the sport. So a lot of people come into this and they just think about Arnold Schwarzenegger, maybe Ronnie Coleman, maybe Phil Heath, some of the bigger names that are in our sport. And while we love those guys, they've paved the way for us. They've created opportunities for both of us. The sport is much more in depth than that. You need to know about different organizations. You need to know if you want to go tested or untested. You need to know, hey, are you or are you not willing to travel? Do you want to become a pro? Do you know what this, not what it takes, i.e. the working out and the eating and everything. What does it take? For example, on the NPC IFBB side, you have to nationally qualify and go to a national show, place there, get your pro card at a national level show. So it at minimum takes you 2 shows to get a pro card. on that side, minimum. And it's very rare for somebody to do it in 2 shows. So with all that being said, you have to research the sport. You have to understand what's going on. Now, while you're hiring, while you're researching a coach, you should be researching the sport at the same time. Because, for example, there are some coaches that specialize in one category. So there may be a coach that only works with bikini athletes. So you don't want to waste your time barking up that tree if you're a men's physique athlete.
Yep.
Or vice versa. For understanding the difference, you want to know the basics, understand the differences between the categories. Also, when you're researching the sport, so you know how to budget. There's a lot of things that are out there. This sport ain't cheap. We say that all the time. There ain't nothing cheap about this sport. Even when you're sponsored, it's still not cheap, and so that can tell you a lot of different things, because a lot of these things, once you spend it, you don't get it back.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at the fine print on most show registrations, unless something catastrophic happens, once you give that money in, you don't get it back. Once you join a league, just don't re-up, because you don't get that money back. If you change your mind saying, this isn't for me, well, you remember that league for however many more months. Yeah. So I just really kind of spitfired. I could have went into detail on almost every single one of those things, but that's like, researching the sport isn't a 15-minute Google search. If that's all you do, you're doing yourself a disservice, and you're gonna get whopped upside the head with a lot of unexpected costs and a lot of different things that you just did not know, could occur and will occur in your search. If you end up joining us, we give you a big fat guide. Read the damn guide.
It's in the guide.
I'm telling you, man, we cover so much stuff in there. It's not even funny. So, Kay, what do you like when you I'm done, my friend. But somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, how should I start researching this sport?" Where would you direct them? How would you kind of go about that?
Definitely not Instagram, right? That would be the very last spot you would go to figure out if competing's for you, right? First, before you even go and be like, well, who's the tippity top and how can I kill him? Right? It's just like, okay, why do you want to, take over this mountain? Right? Because like you said, 4 to 6 weeks in, people be like, why am I not shredded? This sucks. I'm out. Game over. Right? Before you even stepped on stage, you quit. Which is fine. It's just, like you said, it's not for everybody. So, I would take them to like NPC News Online. Look at a competition that, let's say they didn't want to travel and they lived in San Antonio, the Lackland Classic or the San Antonio Classic. We'll look at all the categories, like the overall winners and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, who do you want to look like? This is at the very lowest level. I'm not taking them to like the Olympia, look at Big Ramy and all them. I'm like, okay, who do you try? Can you beat any of them, right? Let's test their ego for a second. Can you beat any of them? I can beat that men's physique guy. Okay, cool. Do you want to, board shorts, da-da-da. Cool, yes. It's funny enough, you said bodybuilding is expensive. I think the complete opposite. Just because the amount of money people spend on food, like eating out and stuff like that, rather than like, chicken, rice, broccoli, fish, stuff like that. That's cheap stuff. But the Five Guys burgers that... How much should we spend on Five Guys that one day? $80? Like, you see what I'm saying? So it adds up later. Obviously, with the ladies, it's a little bit more expensive with the bikinis, the makeup, the tan, the hair, But to step on stage, get a nice pair of shorts, Harley, $30, tan, $150, show stuff, probably like what, $300-$450, right? Depends on the organization.
What, to register?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, your first show, you're probably looking at doing at least 2 classes. So probably like a novice and a master, maybe a novice and an open, or a true novice and novice. So you're looking at least 2 classes, and then you're in the membership. So, yeah, that's like $300-$400 roughly.
Right. And then there's chicken and rice. You know what I mean? So it kind of balances each other out. And plus, you're getting healthier, right? And you're making the right habits, right? I would also say look at the day in the life of bodybuilders. there's a lot of YouTube channels like Iron World, Muscle and Strength, HD Muscle, of just like day in the lives vlogs, because bodybuilding is very boring. We don't do much, especially at the pro level where it's just like, listen, you eat your meals, you go to the gym, you do your cardio, you take naps, and that's it.
And do it all over
You
again.
do it all over again, right? It's not glitz and glamour and photo shoots every day. It's like, no, right? Are you ready to be bored? Ready to be hungry? Because this is what it takes. If you want to step on stage, you can step on stage whenever. But if you want to be competitive, you want to win something, that's going to be the deciding factor, right? Also, managing expectations. Man, if I could go back and tell 20-year-old Coop that, I texted my group, my family group chat. I was like, I'm going to be Mr. Olympia in 2023. Now, is that pretty much like, can I still do that in 2023? Hell yeah. But like looking at little Coop, like the pictures I post on Instagram, it's just like, all right, calm down, man. Like, calm down. So it's also knowing, hey, this is going to be a long journey. This isn't going to be a show thing and you're the best ever. This is going to be, especially if you want to continue, this is going to be years and years of just sickening consistency. Of doing the same thing over and over and over again, year round, eating the same amount, well, different amount, but same type of food. Force feeding, starving, struggling, busting your ass in the gym every single day. Are you ready to do that for 10 plus years? To just for the chance of making it to the Olympia stage.
And shit, let's be even more granular. Think about how many people taking them 7, 8, 9 years to get pro.
Yep.
5 years to go national. And we're not talking about, bobo people either. We're talking about people that when you see them, you think that they were already a pro and all these different things. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not for the faint of heart, because there's a lot of why you see so much emotion when people win or place is because there's a lot of disappointment in this sport.
Yes.
A lot. And
you got to be ready for that.
I mean,
you got to be ready for that.
It's tough.
Because I think we both talked about this and was like, man, like North Americans that was a big disappointment in my books. Or you have other people like 10th at nationals for your first time. That's amazing, brother. It's just like, no, like we failed the mission, right?
Yep.
So of course it's gonna hurt, but I promise you, you can't enjoy the sunlight without the rain.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really. You take for granted the good days without the bad days. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
So you need those valleys to actually, like those peaks. I said the same thing like 3 different times, but hopefully one of those flavors worked for you.
I said this, shout out to Troy Ave. He said it best. Dance in the rain. Because you got, you know what I mean? Because So basically, you can't enjoy the sun without the rain, but why don't you just dance in that rain while you in it?
Yep.
Dance in the Rain. It's a great song, but there's a huge message in there, because that means it's taught about the grinding. It's taught about that grinding. When how a seed don't grow if you don't water it. You can stick it in the ground, but if it don't get watered, what's going to happen? It's going to die.
Yeah.
You're just not getting the water, the sunlight, and all those different things. You grind, and that honestly, we're gonna go a little bit out of order because it really leads into what I had number 5. There really technically wasn't in order, just the way I had it listed out, but get ready to be tested in ways you didn't know possible. Because when you enter this thing, boy, let me tell you, temptation is around every corner.
Yep.
Because I'll tell you this, and you ask outside of us, you ask any competitive, true, real bodybuilder, we've all been hungry to the point of tears in our eyes. We've made that rookie mistake where we had our last meal at 6 or 7 o'clock. I did that once, never again. Because 9 o'clock rolls around and your stomach is playing every damn song. You hear, you know what I mean? And you just like, I can't eat because I already ate everything I was supposed to eat. You're tested, your family and your friends. Sometimes they're going to be supportive. Sometimes they're going to be fake supportive. There's going to be a lot of different things because, and unfortunately it's more on the female side that get this. Oh, what, you think you're better than us now? Because, when you're out, you're only drinking, water and having this. And that's tough because you used to drink with these people and, do all these other different things and everything else. And, now you're telling them, oh, no, I can't go.
Yeah.
I gotta stay home. Or I got to, well, no, because I gotta be in the house by 8 o'clock because I got 5 a.m. cardio. Just all these different things. So you're going to be tested. You're going to be tested mentally because, Kay brought up Instagram. You're going to be looking at these people photoshopped and using all these apps. I keep posting these apps that I'm seeing that people use that don't got abs, and all of a sudden they got abs and all these different things. You're going to be looking like, why don't I look like this person? And that's going to be messing with your head. That's a test. Are you going to be comparing your chapter 1 to somebody's chapter 15? I remember when I would look at some of the IBB pros and some of the natural pros and some of the just the top names, and I was like, man, like there'd be a time where I think I'm just this close to him, and there'd be times where I think there's a chasm, like, oh my God, I'm never gonna catch him. But you compare that, we've heard that saying before. I literally had never stepped on stage yet, and these people have been doing it for 5, 6, however many years.
Yeah.
So I'm still at that point. My first show was 2019. So there's people that have been doing it way longer than that. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to see these different tests, and you got to be. We can tell you all these different things, but it's going to hit you and manifest in different ways for every single person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to give you going to get a lot. Like up here, man, we're a screwy bunch. We are a screwy bunch. We torture ourselves to look good for 5 minutes. Right. Yeah, you know what I mean? Sometimes, thankfully, I've been up there for, on the pro side, I've been up there for like 15, 20 minutes, thank God. So it'll be a little bit more worth it. But what I'm saying is, you are going to be tested. When you're low carb, your patience is going to be tested.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's gonna piss you off. Real bird outside. Why bird chirping so loud?
Yo, shut up.
You know what I'm saying? Like all these different things. So okay, what are some things that you noticed that you were tested that you kind of didn't think would kind of pop up as you went through, whether it be your first prep, most recent prep, or anything in between?
So my test lately hasn't really even been prep, right? I love prep, and fortunately, I haven't really had people say those comments to me saying, well, you don't want to go out drinking? What is wrong with you? You see what I'm saying? I've always been around, down people. That's a blessing. I'll take that any day.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually recently, I would watch training videos, right? Like the most hardcore training videos of Brett Wilkin and Martin Fitzwater, my bad. And they would be like training legs, and they're like going ham. And then I would judge their effort with my effort. And I would feel some type of way if I left the gym and I felt like I didn't beat their effort. And then I had to kind of take a step back and sit in the car for a second. I was like, as long as you can get at least 1% better, inevitably your effort can surpass their effort. Because you don't know. You can't forget about like the camera and the camera effect, right? Everyone's busting their ass on Instagram, but they look the same year by year by year by year. Why is that? Just for that one post? That's their effort, which is fine. Hey, I'm not just sitting here throwing shade or anything, but I had to come to realize and being like, bro, like when the camera's off, when it's just you in this gym, beat your numbers. Beat your last week's progress pictures. Like you said, don't judge your chapter 10 with someone else's chapter 36. It's unfair to yourself. Right? So that was one test that I personally got hit in the face with, and I'm still battling with that today. It never ends. There's always a new test. If you don't have a test in your life, you're doing something wrong. You are wrong if you are not, staring the obstacle, how big or how small in the face. You see what I'm saying? So what's a test that you came in contact with during prep or off season or just in this journey in general?
Shit. You know, as you were going, I was kind of trying to think of one, but I wanted to listen. But I was like, right, like literally, this is me and Kyrie are really freaking close, by the way. I knew you were gonna ask me that about 10 seconds. I was like, shit, I gotta think of one.
You played yourself.
I think honestly, I think the biggest test was the comparison thing. A little bit different from the effort because it's in the same realm, but I did so much comparing, and I didn't know what I was doing because I still compare now, but it's a totally different way. I'm like, okay, how can I beat his this and his that, and okay, he's got a better this than me, but I got a better than that. Like that doesn't mess with me. But like when I first got into it, man, it really messed me up comparing myself to people. And, it's the Instagram effect because me, I'm very adamant about no filters, no Photoshop, So anything I post, you seeing just the biggest effect you'd see me use is fucking freaking the
front camera.
the portrait mode on an iPhone. That's the most you'd really actually see me, do. And I'm seeing everybody. This was wild, right? I'll be seeing people. Ping, 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 ping. Show up. I'm like, did you forget some of your abs or something? You know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing is, and that's not no clownish stuff or anything like that. But that really messed with me because I'm like, I went into several shows early on thinking I didn't belong, thinking I was going to get my ass whooped and all these different things. Just on the strength, I'm looking at these other guys. I'm like, oh my God. And, it just, so that comparison, man, I just say comparison is the thief of joy. Like it was the thief of my joy. Cause I wouldn't say it's all I did, but I let it affect me, because what I was trying to do, I won't say I was lying to myself. I was trying to convince myself a lot of the time that I'm using it for fuel, but there was times that it put me down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was just like, man, and, but it was a test to be able to get over that. It was a test because like if somebody told me I needed to go play LeBron James or I'll use somebody that's a little bit, if I had to go play, Kyrie Irving or somebody in a one-on-one, for my life, I'd be really scared. I have a right to be scared because I'm nowhere near competitive with them. You know what I mean? I would truly need luck. But now if you said the same thing in bodybuilding, it's like, okay, you got to go up against this guy and do the pose down with this guy. I feel okay against anybody in the world. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm prepared and everything like that. Now, I'm not saying I could beat everybody but I feel more prepared. So that fear is different. You know what I mean? But before, I felt that fear in terms of I'm looking at everybody, as doing their thing. And I'm like, man, no, I can't beat any of these guys. And I'm a confident dude. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, yo, I can't beat any of these guys. I can't touch these guys. Oh my God, I don't belong. All these different things. And that was a true test to get over that and get out of that. Because at the end of the day, you do need to do your homework on who you're going to go on stage against. You really do. If you know who's going to be there, you need to know who's going to be on stage. So we hit research the sport. We hit, kind of talk about getting tested. That's what we're going to hit. So we said, again, reminder, hit the description section about our conversation about coaches. But I'm going to say hire a coach. Now, we'll kind of meld these a little bit, but hire a coach, and then because they're going to be able to help you set goals. For example, young skinny Coop, when he said, "I want to be Mr. Olympia, 2023." Now, yes, it can still happen. We're not going to sit there and act like it can't happen, but we understand it way more now what it takes versus what we understood 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And a good coach, not necessarily a great coach, but even a good coach will be able to help you set your goals. And as Kyrie mentioned, set proper expectations. Because a lot of us, and I think Kyrie and I, both of us were guilty at one point when you first get into this and you start to see the shreds and you start to be like, I'm going to beat all these jokers.
Yeah.
I'm the bet. You know what I mean?
My
Now
God.
Kyrie did happen to whoop on Big Bro his first show. You know what I mean? And Kyrie went on a nice little win streak, but then he kind of saw the bigger world. He was like, oh, wait a second. While I'm great, I still got more work to do.
Yeah.
Same thing happened to me. My first, kind of my first, in the pros top five with not I shouldn't say with ease, but it felt like with ease. All these different things. And again, to bring it back, those expectations, man. I'm telling you, hiring a coach is going to help you because you don't. Again, you say, oh, you come into the NPC IFBB world and you think you're going to go pro after your first show. That shows how little you know. It is when I say it's virtually impossible, you never know when they might make something. Oh, well, this show, because of the size of it, whoever wins the overall goes automatically pro. Rare. I mean,
It's like already predetermined before the season even starts.
Where you need to go. And that's where a coach helps you, because if you say, yeah, I'm gonna come to Heart of Texas, or oh yeah, I'm gonna come to Latin class, I'm gonna get my pro, you didn't do your research. So now you're gonna look like an idiot when you're running around saying, well, where's my pro card? Why I didn't do that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's a real thing. Same thing, the reason why you need to hire a coach, because bodybuilding is different. It's one thing to diet and look good in the gym. It's another thing to diet and look good on stage. Those are two totally different things. And then hiring a coach goes with the posing, because we talk about this all the time. There are these stellar, phenomenal physiques. You're just like, oh my God, this guy's a world beater. They get on stage and look like T-Rex.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're doing. They're not presenting anything. They have this phenomenal natural V-taper. They're posing like this, and now they lose all. There's all these, so there's different things when it comes to the posing side of it. But that's why hiring a coach is so important, because now once you have that coach, now you sit there and you got to let it all out to them. You got to be very real about your financial situation, because that's going to determine whether you can do 1 or 5 or however many shows you can do in a season. That's going to be a big determining factor. Because me as a coach, I always say, like, once you've prepped and now you're in season, to me, the only thing that should keep you off stage is finances. I know not everybody can afford to do 5, 6, 7, whatever, however many shows. Obviously you want to give yourself a break and things like that. But so getting with a coach, they're going to help you set true goals. Like, again, budgeting. So for example, we're going to go on the female side because the budget has to be bigger. Okay, which category are you going to do? Because if you want to do bikini and wellness, sometimes those suits are a little bit different. The posing is different. Yeah. There's all these little differences, and that goes into the budget. That goes into the goal. So, well, when Kyrie was talking about how, looking at on the site, which one do you want to look like? Who do you think you can beat? That's going to help, with the goal setting, because you need to set short-term goals. You need to set long-term goals. You know what I mean? And to go specifically on the goals, I'm not saying you need to have goals. There's no set timetable or anything like that. So if you have your goals before, you hire a coach, share your goals in that first conversation, baby. Yep. You got to. Don't wait until 6 weeks in and you're saying, well, yeah, I thought I was going to make it to Mr. Olympia this year. Wait, you've never stepped on stage before. What do you mean you're going to make it to, you know what I mean? Do you even know the qualification process? You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. I'm saying this from experience. There are people that think like that. There are people that think that they can get on the NFF stage or the IPE stage, and that can qualify them for the Olympia stage. They don't know how. That's what I'm saying. People don't fully get the totality, of these things. So set your goals, right? And look, if you ask me, what should I do first? It really doesn't matter. I do think you should probably set your goals before hiring the coach. So that way, that's going to help your coach set expectations, because they'll kind of know where your mind is. Are you way far down the road thinking about your already, my goal is to be in the Hall of Fame? Hold on, Kimusaba, you got to win some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or is your goal, I just want to do this, to better my health? Because that coach, you know what I mean? When you're talking to that coach, if that's your only goal, they may say, hey, wait a second, I'm kind of intense. If you're just looking to better your health, you may need to go with this coach, because the way I'm going to push you may push you out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But those goals are important because you have to have something to focus on while you're going. But then to go back to the hiring the coach piece, and I'm gonna toss it back to Kay. Like hiring a coach is so important. Like I've self-coached, I've had a coach, you know what I'm saying? And there's positives and negatives to each side of it. When you first get into this sport, I beg you, get a coach. Because you if you try to go in it alone, I hate to use the word luck, but a lot of your success will be from a little bit of luck, i.e., you might have happened to pick the right show and things like that, and then London Bridge can come tumbling down where you get a big head and you think you're ready for the big time. You don't got nobody to tell you otherwise, and then
Yeah.
you catch that Mike Tyson in the '80s, and so. But I'm telling you, hiring a coach, because now you're really going to learn the process. You're going to learn about whether you need to do cardio or not, how much cardio you need to do. Really, and I'm just going to be real, the working out part really doesn't change much until you get a little bit deeper into it. When you're where Kyrie and I are, now our workouts are a little bit different. You know what I mean? Now it's really because our I want to say our bodies have peaked per se, but now we're really trying to squeeze, we're trying to squeeze, add just a little, like when you're at a certain level, just a pound of muscle added to a frame can completely change it. But when you're green and you're new, the workouts, not saying the workouts aren't important. You need to do your workouts and everything like that, but it's that nutrition. You're truly learning the importance of nutrition,
Yeah.
how it affects you on a day-to-day, hour-to-hour basis, and things like that. So, Kay, talk to me about hiring a coach. Talk to me about setting goals. Talk to me about your process.
First off, praise God because Kyle just happened to fall right in my lap. There wasn't I think I talked about that in the episode of Finding a Coach. It was just like, it just so happened. I saw his Instagram post and it was like, DM me for fucking coach. Oh, no, I did it. I dropped the F-bomb. Oh, no. All right, my apologies. DM me for coaching. And then DM'd him. Dude's my A1 since day one. I'm gonna see him in the next month or so. We're gonna go down there and train and stuff like that. So
nice.
That's a blessing. I didn't even ask him any questions. I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna compete at this show. Can you take me there?" You know what I mean? And he was like, "Roger that, brother. Let's go." And it just works so perfectly. But like we said in the last video, your coach, if you guys aren't talking about goals, your first conversation, you don't have a coach. They're just trying to take your money. Or, my bad, they're just an inexperienced coach that just needs a little bit more learning, right? Because that is they want to take you somewhere. It's just like hopping in a taxi and not telling them where you want to go. You know what I mean? Like, that should be the first thing you guys talk about. Mm-hmm. Secondly, with the goals, they're also, I know me, especially a young little 20, 21, 22-year-old coop, you couldn't tell me nothing, man. So I would have gotten like my obliques to show, and I thought I was peeled to the bone, and I was so lean, and the only thing I need to do was drop water weight, and I'm stage ready. So I needed a coach for that. Or you can be on the opposite side of the coin and think that you look fat always. So you just keep chopping away. You lose all your muscle. You look like a cancer patient on stage, and then that's just a bad look. You lose and wonder why you worked so hard and you were fat anyways. You see what I'm saying? So there's a dichotomy there where you have to have a anchor of saying, hey, this is where we are going. I'm going to take you there. I just need you to trust me. Right? And most importantly, learn from them. Learn from them. Ask them questions. I don't know what questions to ask. Ask them anything. Ask them the biggest question anyone can ask anyone. Why? If they get offended by it, then that's a conversation you guys can be like, okay, I'm trying to learn from you. Mm-hmm. And if they feel threatened, find a different coach. But he's like, okay, cool. You know, it feels good whenever someone you take someone under your wing and you're just like, yo, let me teach you the ropes. Mm-hmm. You know, so yeah, those are the prerequisites before finding a coach, and they will also do exactly what we did here. we'll go through all the criterias of being like, okay, what category? Why do you want to compete? Where do you want to compete? You know, how dedicated are you? Are you intense? I'm intense. Are you going to match my intensity? Because that's a big one. I learned that the hard way. I gave a guy a meal plan and he told me he messed up on it. I'm like, how? My first client. I'm like, how do you mess up? Just eat it. What is wrong with you?
I'm bad. You don't think I'm bad.
Oh man. So and that was a learning process for myself, you know, learning how to actually like talk to your clients. But that's in a different, that should be the next episode. Bingo, right there. Let me write that down somewhere. But yeah, I think I went on a tangent. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, no, you did.
I did.
You did.
Cool. Yeah, because I put down emotions, and that's just managing your emotions. That's what a good coach is. Because I could never coach myself, and I think I asked you that question when we were doing a pre-show a while ago. Because I was like, how do you do it? Because like I don't know. How did you do it? How could you see the forest when you're in the forest?
Balance. I have this weird innate ability to balance. Like I always say I'm like a shark. You know what I mean? You know how some people are okay, kind of chilling. I'm like
I'm moving. Yeah.
Because like when I don't have anything to do, which is rare, I'm like I'm not good there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was just a lot of balance, man. And then at the end of the day, you know, thankfully I had the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And I found that balance between, you know, I knew I would never really let myself off the hook. So that part of the balance I didn't have to worry about. Like saying, oh, you can just do, you know, it was about being too hard on myself. That was the real true balance I had to find and just keep, because I real quick. So I remember when so Darius up to Oklahoma in 2020. And so I was about 3 weeks out, actually 3 weeks out from winning my pro card. And I seen everybody and I was like, oh my God, I'm not ready. I mean, I was bugged out after that. You know what I'm saying? And then I had a coach talk with myself. It's like you knew what you know what you're doing. These people are all stage ready, you know, because they're competing right now. You're getting ready to, you know, you're gonna be there. And I was there. You know what I'm saying? But it was that whole, you know, again, balance. That's the big thing. Balance. And you have to know which tendency you had. I knew I would have a tendency to be more hard on myself. So that's where I focused, to not be crazy hard on myself. And that takes a lot of honesty, because a lot of these people there's more people I think are on when they're in prep, they'll let themselves off the hook.
Yeah.
More so than be hard on themselves. They might be hard on themselves, like, you know, when they're just trying to lose a little bit of weight here and there. But when you're trying to get on stage, you're trying to get a pro card, you're trying to get the top 5, all these different things, there's not a lot of margin for error. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, shout out to James. You know, I'm glad I got a coach, because at the end of the day, the big thing was when I said to myself, I was like, look, I want to get to the next level. But my biggest prerequisite for a coach, I knew I was going to find somebody who knew what they were doing, all those kind of like very easy things. I needed a coach that cared. And I know that Joker cares about me. I know that. I don't question it. I never once had to worry about anything like that. So it makes it easy, because like Kyle with you know how we are. Tell us what to do and we're going to do it. Yeah. We might ask a question here and there just for, you know, just to understand shit. But, you know, it's never like, are they following the program? Are they, you know, anything like that? So, you know, that was like my big thing when I decided to go back from, okay, I mean, I knew I could coach myself. I still can do all these different things, but, you know, I want to get to that next level. So it was good to have that secondary eye. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it was stressful at times. You know what I mean? Because then I fell to the back burner a lot, because I got a lot of lifestyle clients. There's a lot of people on our team. So, but it was easy to fall to the back burner because I had to make my food. You know what I'm saying? I knew you know, I didn't have to, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, I knew I'd do this. And, you know, truth be told, I hope James don't get mad at me for saying this. I haven't looked at the scale in God knows how long. I look in the mirror, I see, you know, what's going on, you know, and then I got people I'm trying to get off of the scale. Like, you know, as a coach, from a coach standpoint, it's almost there's three people: the people that follow the program and listen to you, Then there's the people that stay on the scale every day and they wonder why they're driving themselves nuts. And then there's the people that totally run away from the scale because they know they're not doing what they're supposed to do, so they don't want to report it. 3 categories. That's it. You ain't forget because you've been weighing all week and you watched it go like this because you couldn't put the damn fork down.
You knew.
Let me not go into
it. You knew it. Oh man, you just took a shot at somebody.
Not just no. Sadly, it's not just one person. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's just your actions tell you are everything. Nip said it best. Actions everything. Words mean shoot.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Because like I know it's easy for me. It's like with us. It's easy to say we really wanted to do this, right? Where are we every Monday well, that's when we record, Monday at 3 o'clock. Where are we every Monday at 3 o'clock? We right here. Every once in a while, one of us might be running late, but no, we do. We text, so we know that this means, I don't have to worry, and you don't have to, we know this means something. But now if I was always like, hey, can we move today? Can we do this? Or if Kyrie was doing that, then it's like one or the other, like, man, do you really want to do this? Or are you actions tell you everything. Actually, and again, shout out to my coach James, because he posted something about this today, as a matter of fact. You know what I mean? And it's just one of the things that gets me is because I have people tell me, and I say this all the time. I say it publicly. I'm never gonna put nobody out there I'm not gonna tag every single person that does this. It's too many people. I want this so bad. I'm gonna do this. And I mean, barely make it a couple of days. You know what I mean? And then it's my job to hold you accountable. That's what I get paid for. You pay me to hold you accountable, to create a plan for you based on your goals, based on what you told me you're ready to commit. I have to hold you accountable. So I'm not a bad guy when I'm telling you, no, this isn't it. No, this isn't good. I'm not an enabler. I'm not going to tell you that you're doing good when you're not. I'm not going to lie to you. That's what you got. We all have enablers in our life, unfortunately. You know what I mean? It's just up to us if we're going to listen to them or not. I tend to not. I have people that tell me you got that. You don't know what I got and what I don't got. You know what I'm saying? like, you know what I mean? Like, but at the end of the day, when it comes like all these things we talked about, you won't be, new in the bodybuilding a lot. This is why I said next year, 2022, I'm not taking on any new people, like new to bodybuilding, unless you meet a certain criteria, which I'm not going to go into right now. You have to meet a certain criteria, baby, because the new people stressing me out, man. All these grays in my beard, I can name them after each one of y'all. You know what I'm saying? I was stressing your boy out, man. So, but yeah, I think that's a good place to piece it. Or do you want to go into your? Did we touch on yours?
Yeah, because it was pretty much the same. I made my list like whenever we were talking about it. So whenever you said your list, I was marking them off, just like, well, can't talk about that, can't talk about that. But I had something and it's gone forever. So until next time. You guys take it easy. Like, comment, subscribe, and I got it. If you're thinking about bodybuilding, or if you're thinking about starting the business, if you're thinking about calling your estranged family member and apologizing, just go and do it. Build as you fly. Just pick up the phone. Do it, or just step foot in the gym. Just go do it. Figure it out. Because you can listen to this podcast and be like, well, yes, I'm thinking about being a bodybuilder now. It's just like, cool. Thoughts are absolute, like they're useless inside the head. Without the action, without the intent, it's absolutely useless. So go try. And then go do. Then go conquer. So until next time, y'all take it easy. We out.